Welcome back to another week of Monday Morning Mana here at Lema Futanga, and also to another week of Wednesday's midweek Zoom meetups. We've been discussing and tackling the book of Philippians together as a community, and we've been struggling with it. We've been sharing our concerns, our thoughts, and even sharing our tears as we try to navigate this space in here and how he relates to the space out here. And so as Paul is writing his letter to the Philippians, he does something very special. And I thought it's very heartful. Not hurtful, heartful, that he includes the love of his friends, his best friends, Timothy, who has been with him for so long. Verse 20, it says, I have no one else like him who takes a genuine interest in your own or in your welfare. Verse 21 says, for everyone looks out for his own interests, not for those of Jesus Christ. Does this sound familiar to any of you? If you recall from Pastor Tala's discussion, she talked about like-mindedness and to being like Christ. In other translations, verse 20, it says, I have no one else who is like-minded. Wow. Paul has no one else who is like-minded. And so Paul continues with describing his friend Epaphroditus. And he describes him so beautifully that he's not using these words loosely. He actually uses them intentionally. He says, Epaphroditus, that's my brother. And believe it or not, family, there's so much meaning behind that word. We need to understand the context of that word when he uses the term brother. He also goes on describing Epaphroditus as his fellow worker. He says, man, that's my co-worker in ministry right there. He also describes him as, that's my fellow soldier. Church family, gets better than this. Verse 26, it says, for he longs for all of you and is distressed because you heard that he was ill. I don't know about you, family, but I sense this community, this love that Epaphroditus' community has for him. And the community we're talking about is the Philippians. Epaphroditus was not only sick, and it's as if that being sick wasn't enough, but he was distressed. He was emotionally, not just physically impaired, but he was also emotionally impaired. But the thing is, he was distressed because his community was distressed, because he heard that they had heard. And so it just makes you want to think that the support of his community and the fact that they were worried about, the welfare of their very own, this one person whom they have sent to help with the Apostle Paul and his ministry, it just makes you want to wonder, he mattered. And these last two verses reveal and give clues as to why the Apostle Paul is using his friends as testimonies in his letter. There's a reason why he's exemplifying his friends in his letters to the Philippians. Here's why. And it says, welcome him in the Lord with great joy, and honor men like him. Honor men like my friend Epaphroditus, who's my brother, my fellow worker, my fellow soldier. Honor men like him. Verse 30 says, because he almost died for the work of Christ, risking his life to make up for the help you could not give me. There it is. That's the reason why. If you still don't understand, if you want just a little bit of more explanation, well, I invite you this Wednesday to tune in as we unpack these verses, because there's so much meaning. If you think that has nothing to do with you, trust me, these verses have everything, and I mean everything, to do with you. And so I leave you off with these three questions to ponder on. Number one, how does Timothy and Epaphroditus exhibit the attitude and mind of Christ? Number 2, how have you looked at others through the lens of their strengths? That's exactly what Paul did when he's describing his friends. He's using their strengths. And your last question, how does our relationships, our friendships with others impact the way we live our lives? And so ponder on those questions, think about them. I encourage you to read the text in depth. And until then, I will see you on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Check out our Facebook page, and there you will find and locate our Zoom ID for this Wednesday. Until then, Tofa Soifua.